Welcome to the Melting Point on Memories 96.5 FM. Today is Friday, the 9th of August 2024, and my name is Sharon Mandor.
I am Enquiry. Enquiry, welcome to the Melting Point.
Alright, 3 minutes gone past the hour of 10, but let's head straight on. As the nation grapples with the ongoing #End Bad Governance protest, all eyes are on the president's recent speech. Today we're joined by a distinguished guest, Professor Emmanuel Onwiduokent, who has just published a thought-provoking evaluation of the president's address. His insights have sparked significant discussion, and we're here to delve deeper into his analysis, and the potential impact of the president's words and what it all means for the future of our nation. This is a conversation you won't want to miss, so stay tuned as we break down the issues and seek understanding together. Good morning to you, Prof.
Good morning.
Welcome to the station, Memories FM, once again.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you back.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, so I saw your evaluation. Let's just go straight into it. The evaluation and what you said. First of all, you started by saying you mentioned that the speech shifts between empathy and threats. How could this affect the president's relationship with the youth and then the public trust?
Well, that is assuming there's a relationship between the president and the youth. That is a serious assumption which I don't believe exists.
How so?
Because if it had existed, the president would have done things differently. Would have at least been concerned of the youth. If you read that speech, whoever wrote it did not do the president good. In fact, the fund alienated the president from the youth. Because that is the spirit. In the one breath, the president said, yes, it's your right to protest. I understand. I feel your pain. Then at the other hand, he's threatening the youth as if protest is a crime in the same speech.
But a few days after that, he approved the appointment of Abdullahi Suleiman Ango as the mandate secretary for the newly established Youth Development Secretariat within the FCTA. One would say that he's, trying to reach the heart of the youth by that.
Well, when you run government by propaganda or government by impulse, if you listen to that president's speech, you're talking about CMG that we have been talking about over a year ago, and nothing has happened. He still regulated that and said all that. We're not talking about the revenue. If the exchange rate of the naira was 306, and you're now getting 1,005, when will revenue increase? What will make sense would be that we have narrowed the deficit. Revenue nominally has increased. What happened to the expenditure? What happened to the deficit? So in any serious analysis, the level of deficit that you have narrowed is revenue. And not just, we need to now look at expenditure on what? Expenditure on building house for one individual, expenditure of buying job that is in the sea and nobody is using. Since that time, our over 5 have to maintain that ship in the sea. So what are you spending the money on? Is what would have been critical. And the people have a demand. They have a list of demand. There is no president, nobody that will meet all the demand. But at least pick one or two and now give explanation why the other one that is connecting with the people. Now, is it not even make any reference to any of the demands of the people? That's why I said there is no connection between the president and the young people.
Okay, Prof. In the president's speech, one of the economic highlights was securing $620 million for the Digital and Creative Enterprises program to empower young people and create millions of IT and technical jobs. I don't think this is possible.
I'm just hearing that for the first time. Even in the supplementary budget 2023, all those lofty things that mentioned, which of them have been actualized? See, the problem, the danger of running government by propaganda is that you alienate yourself from the people, that even when you are saying the truth, there's a problem. The president has been on seat for 14 months now. 14
Yes.
months now. And there is also good from Wednesday.
Interesting, but with that speech, if you are even via your evaluation, the president's speech did not, as you just said, tackle all the issues.
Any of the issue, do not say all. It's not tackled any of the issue.
Okay, we've had other people, outstanding, CSOs, civil society groups, and even Femi Falana and so many others, Wale Soyinka, Atiku, talk about the president's speech, that it was not adequate, it was not the way that people were expecting. But the question here is, what are the key concerns that we're expecting? Exactly what the president should be talking about.
For me, I actually think even the protester, we're going with too many things. When you're going for a protest,
there's so many demands.
Yes, you go with something specific. And for me, the only demand that will make real sense now is for the reform of the electoral system and the sacking of the INEC chairman.
Okay.
If that was the only demand and they could get that done, we will be sure of our future. That the process that will bring the future people into office will be clear and clean and will not be subject to a judiciary making pronouncement that everybody will line up and vote and 3 people governor will be the president. That is the key process. All these problems we are having now, like I told people, the president did not promise anybody anything when he was campaigning. He did not agree to be in any debate, if you will recall. Did he participate in any debate? He did not. Even when he went for a campaign, he said, I just want to dance. And he will dance, and he will sing and go. So, he did not promise anybody. The only thing is my turn, that's all. So, what are you going to hold him responsible for? Even the party, the APC, had a manifesto. But it's not just the APC has been in power for 8 years of Buhari before the Tinubu. Which of the manifesto did they implement? One of the manifesto that they implement. 3 million jobs for youth to be created every year. It was in that manifesto. Restructuring of Nigeria was in that manifesto. They even set up a committee headed by El Rufai and made some recommendations for it. Where is that report? So then I say, government by propaganda is dangerous for our country. And if people don't speak out, see, I wrote something yesterday on the Animal Farm. Have you read Animal Farm? Dr. Well?
Yeah, I have.
I drew parallel between Animal Farm and what is happening in government, not just this government, since independence. You will see people that are progressive, they're asking for change. When they now get to the driver's seat, things will begin to change. And no animal wear clothes, no animal should sleep in bed with bedsheet. And all those things comes in. So we need, as a people, to rise up and say enough is enough, and without bloodshed through the electoral process to make sure that the process that bring people into office is clean. That is truly the will of the people that is reflected. As we are now, you can even call this minority rule. If you add the Labour Party and the PDP vote together, 14-point-something million, as against 8.9 million of the current government. So in a real sense, it's a minority rule. Because the people that voted against this current administration are more than the people that voted for them, despite all that we know happen.
Okay. Some people feel this is just an era, a passing phase in the Nigerian polity. Yeah, because in the 60s, 70s, we had the oil boom, and thereafter there was a time for democracy to kickstart. And now is a passing phase in which it is just natural that it should be, things should be this way in Nigeria. We should have such electoral or reforms, a time for electoral judiciary reforms, and then thereafter we now go into actual leadership. Do you share this opinion that it's a passing phase in Nigeria, that much later there's nothing anybody could have done, even if you were the president now?
No, there are so many. We are 60-something years old as a nation. There are even younger nations, people that became independent long after, even right in the 90s, that are doing better. Most of there are business cycle in every capitalist system. There's buzz, there's boom, there's recession, there's depression and all that.
Yeah.
But what will sustain you or mitigate or help you is the quality of policy of thinking that go into the process. You see, Buhari, there was a financial crisis, 2008, 2009, when Jonathan was there. Why did we not feel the pain? Because the people were thinking and planned ahead of time, and we were able to go through it almost without scratch. What happened to Buhari regime? We were into recession twice in the life of one administration because of poor policy. The quality of policy and its implementation is what will stand you out, either you are on this side or the other side. This policy, the poor thinking and the policy articulation and implementation will come up permanently. So if we leave things to chance, this will be the permanent face for Nigeria. So we need to consciously and conscientiously arise and think carefully and structure our way out and how we want to come out of where we are. Otherwise, this is just like borrow and spend. This government way borrow and spend. I don't know whether there was no 2 weeks since that they did not send the request to the National Assembly for approval to borrow. Who is going to pay for all that? They are even mortgaging our only product, crude oil, to get loan ahead of time. And what are they using the money? They borrow and spend. What are they spending it on? The president said he was going to originally report to collapse the ministry and parastatal to streamline. But this is the president that have appointed, that have created, in fact, created another ministry, just livestock ministry, you remember, and have appointed the highest number of ministers. In where we have economic crisis, we have 48 ministers. If you appoint the one for the livestock, that would be like 49. Or if you appoint Minister of State, we have 50 ministers.
All right, if you take a look at that speech, you notice that the speech highlights the economic reforms that seem to miss the immediate needs of Nigerians. How can the government balance long-term plans with the demands of Nigerians? Because Nigerians are hungry and they're looking for change right now. So how can they explain that some of these, policies that they have put in place are long-term policies?
Like which one? What policy is long-term? Removal of subsidy. At the same time, floating the currency that is not convertible. The currency naira that is not convertible, you float it. You remove the subsidy on the energy, electricity. Yeah. Everything is market-driven except the wages of workers. That is not market-driven. And even if the wages of workers were market-driven, what fraction of Nigerians are employed by the public sector? I'm interested to know it's not even up to 1 point something, it's not even up to 2% that are employed in the public sector across from federal, state and local government. Although we don't know how many we are, but some statistics, when you wake up from sleep, they say 216, another person they say 230. No, we have not had any census, so we are all projecting, assuming we are conservatively 216. What percentage of 216 are employed by the government? So what any government is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. It's the private sector that will employ. There's a limit to where the number of people government can employ. So it all boils down to the quality of thinking. That is why, see, a place like China, though communist inclined, but the process of recruitment of leadership is so thorough. You go through rigorous training before you get there. And see the quality of things that the strategic thinking they are doing. They are able to stand toe to toe and say, America say, want to go left. They say, no, you want to go right. Without being afraid of something, afraid of anything. And Nigeria have all that it takes. All we're missing is leadership.
Okay, but the issue of, because a lot of people are pointing fingers at the president, but the president works with his team. That's why he has so many ministers. We were just counting 48 ministers, and if you're going to include the Ministry of Livestock, that would be 50 or 49. I remember when the president got into power and then he appointed his ministers, he said that we'll do an evaluation after some time, and if you cannot deliver, it's bye-bye. And up till now, apart from the humanitarian minister who was, who was suspended for investigation into some fraudulent issue, how do we say that the ministers have performed? How do we evaluate the performance of the ministers and hold them accountable to what they're supposed to be doing?
Who are the ministers? I don't even know them. Who are the ministers? When we had government in Nigeria, you had ministers who were working. If I ask you, even when you are in it, can you mention 10 ministers in this region?
I can't actually.
Because they are not doing anything. Whether it's an APC thing, I don't know. I don't want to think like, because this is what happened in Enquiry. You appoint you and forget about you. If you like, you sleep. If you like, you work. Whatever you do, he has appointed you. But we cannot be talking about the minister. It's the president that appointed the minister. So the bomb stop at president's table. Any minister that is not working, that doesn't perform like you said, is supposed to show. One we need is the result. Whoever, whether I bring people from the moon, from the sun, once we get the result, nobody will complain.
Yes, you're right. We can't totally give Tinubu 100% failure. Otherwise, he is not working alone. Based on some of his economic policies that he has enunciated and actually has given extra funds and grants to the state governments, people are looking at the presidency and forgetting their governors. Actually, he has introduced various skills development and job creation programs such as Scale Up, Artisans program, and also providing 570 billion naira to states for livelihood support and granting 1 million micro and small businesses loans to about 750 beneficiaries. Now, the state governors are not saying anything considering the extra or additional money that has been extended to them to cushion these some effects in their respective states. In addition to the monthly allocation from the federation account. Don't you think this is part of economic measure by the presidency to fine-tune inflation?
Thank you very much. Thank you for raising that. Need to make the clarification. When they speak like that at the federal level, they make it look like it's their animosity. There's a law that governs the resources that comes in. With the exchange rates that has been domestically have been devalued, there is increase in the revenue. For instance, if you multiply $100 by 460, that you have 460,000. If you multiply that same $100 by 1,500, you are going to have 1.5 million.